You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 118. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
I'm Jeff Barnhart, a non-living and perfect duplicate of Superman.
Oh, man. Comic Reflections is brought to you by Rhymes with Geek. You can check out our show, plus plenty of other cool podcasts like Feed It Comics, Super Podcasto Magnifico, and the all-new Anti-Fanboy at rhymeswithgeek.com. And if you like our show, please subscribe to us on either iTunes or Stitcher.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's Superman time.
Yeah. The man who toyed with death.
Yes.
And bored Jeff.
Well, yes, this is Superman number 305, and Jeff just gave you the title. Martin Pascoe wrote it, and Kurt Swan did the pencils. Bob Oxner did the inks. And yes, it's Superman and the Toyman, who is just... Toyman is one of those villains, Mike. He could never cause Superman a problem. So why does he exist?
He does this time, but it's kind of meh.
So the original Toyman had retired from crime and reformed.
Mm-hmm.
But in this, he thinks Superman has destroyed his life's work, and so by accident. And so he goes back into supervillainy again, and also eliminates the second Toyman in a one page. He kills the Toyman 2.
Yeah, Jack Nimble.
Yeah.
I wonder if his middle name starts with a B.
Yeah. And Jack Nimble, that Toyman, is the one that we saw that was seen on the Super Friends cartoon show in the Legion of Doom.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, well, you told about this.
But I think the Jack Nimble Toyman comes back later as an android.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, anyway.
All right, so, what's this guy's name? It's Winslow Shot.
Yeah.
It's the original Toyman.
And he looks like Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah. So he's really angry at Superman because Superman told him or asked him to have his toys in the Coliseum, and the Coliseum is destroyed by Superman, much to Clark Kent's surprise.
Weird.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so, and here's a cool toy: is a razor-sharp frisbee, which apparently he kills a security guard.
Yeah.
No, a doorman.
Yeah, and then it's at Jack Nimble, the second Toyman's apartment, and the Toyman kills him.
With the stupid long-legged bird.
Yeah. I will say I think the Jack Nimble Toyman is better, but still lame.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But then Toyman comes along and fights Superman with this giant robot suit that looks like himself.
Yeah, that's super scary. I'm surprised that Superman doesn't die from laughing. Alright, Superman goes to trouble to fix up the Coliseum. Here comes Toyman and starts breaking it down. But Toyman's actually kicking some Superman butt.
I think because Superman doesn't really want to hurt him, because he knew that, Winslow Shot had reformed, and maybe he can, talk him down or whatever. I think. But he's not having it. The Toyman isn't. And he stomps on Superman. And
okay, so Toyman picks up a huge thing of
debris,
pavement, and throws it at a nice blonde girl and her husband. And Superman saves him, and he makes his getaway. So, and Superman says, "Oh, it won't be worth my time to go chase him." Why not? I don't understand.
Yeah, because you could get him super quick.
Yeah, duh.
But then I guess it'd be a 2-page story.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Oh, so
and Bizarro is back.
Yeah, and he comes. Now we don't know it's Bizarro yet, but he comes out really cool out of this water.
Yeah.
And supposedly he forgets how to fly, so he walks around.
Okay.
Oh, and here comes Mr. Action, Jimmy Olsen. Man, Jimmy Olsen didn't grow up very well.
No, it's just a terrible misstep in the 1970s of trying to make Jimmy Olsen cool. You can't. The whole point of Jimmy is that he's really square.
Yeah, he's wearing some polyester shirt with orange squiggles and this Ugh.
Yeah, that's the 70s.
Oh man, what a lousy a decade of hate. At least I hear. No. So they're going off somewhere. Clark and Jimmy and Superman. Oh, I gotta go. So he zaps Jimmy's key ring, and his key flies away. So he's got to look for it. So then Superman.
That's not Jimmy. That's Steve Lombard.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Because Steve
He's red hair too. Okay.
No, that's Brown.
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah, it is. All right.
So, but anyway, Steve and Clark were going to go on an assignment together, and Clark, makes his key disappear to get rid of Steve, so he can go on his own. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
So they go to Superman Museum where there's a riot on because people are ticked off at Superman, and here comes a big monster toy man with some really cool weapons that destroy. No, it's not cool, but they're strong enough to defeat Superman. And Toyman's going around hitting the globe and the statues and all that stuff.
Oh man. Yeah.
And then Superman picks up a statue and smacks Toyman with it.
Yeah.
And then here comes Bizarro.
Yay!
Yeah. Okay. So Toyman has a super fist.
Yeah, he has some gauntlet that'll amplify his strength. But since he's a weak-ass old guy, it's not going to amplify it very much.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Superman makes short work of the Toyman, but then he turns around and there's Bizarro.
Yeah, and his voice is a sound like dead branches scraping a window pane.
Wow.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
And so Bizarro knocks out Superman, ties him up
with his cape, and then Toyman has come to and strikes up an alliance with Bizarro.
Yeah.
Which, hey,
not
that's
a good
cool.
idea. That's not a good idea, but hey.
Yeah. So it ends on a cliffhanger, and we don't know how it ends.
Yeah.
I bet Superman wins, though.
I don't know. I'm not going to give you any odds on that.
Okay.
It's not, yeah, it's... the entire thing about Superman is not that if he wins, but how does he win?
Yeah.
How does he get out of this? Which is kind of cool.
And he is tied up with an indestructible cape, so he is bound. And yeah, Toyman is no threat, but Bizarro is.
Yeah, Bizarro is the strongest Superman. He's got same powers, I think. But
sort of. They're not quite all the same.
He's allergic to some kind of other kryptonite. Blue kryptonite?
Blue kryptonite is the one that will harm Bizarro, and it's harmless to Superman. And there are certain things. It's like freeze vision instead of heat vision. I think there's stories where he breathes fire instead of has the freeze breath, different stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they're not really consistent. They've had stories where Bizarro flew backwards, to be opposite of Superman. But
yeah, but he does have the power of super kookiness.
Yeah.
I love Bizarro.
Yes.
Although, I don't know if I like him in this one yet. Well, he hasn't had much chance to do anything. So.
Right. So, but it's bringing Bizarro back. They're bringing back classic Superman villains, which is kind of cool at this point. So, because what is it, like 76? So, but our next issue, a new villain for Superman, at least as far as I know, but pretty cool. This story is called Krypton No More, not to be confused with Kryptonite No More, the story from several years previous. But it's Superman number 307, and Jerry Conway wrote this. Jose Luis Garcia-Lopez penciled it, and Frank Springer did the inks. So.
Yeah, okay, so Superman is playing Captain Planet and destroying this floating factory, and here comes the Protector to fight Superman.
Well, and the thing is, Superman doesn't really attack industry. He's like, he might condemn something that's wrong, but he's not going to act that way.
And it's kind of weird because, one, he's Superman, so if he came in front of Congress, hey, this plan is no good, I think people would listen.
Yeah.
Two,
I mean,
he is a news anchor man and can do a show on this. So this is totally. And you know,
it is weird, and it's like the Superman taking direct action above the law in this sense is weird because he is a world leader, and you're right. The world would listen to Superman if he spoke up against something.
I would listen to Superman if he has something to say.
Yeah,
I guess most people would.
No.
So
he is Superman. He does have some clout.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird. So this guy, the Protector, is really powerful. He's got like what, energy powers or transmutation?
He can transmute into different substances. Like he can be made out of diamond and gas.
Yeah,
and all
but
those.
it's not like doing like goofy shapes like say Metamorpho would do. He just turns his whole body in the same form. Or shape anyway, into a different form of matter or energy.
That's kind of weird. So we start off with this, and then Superman thinks back. And so one of the people at the factory tells him that they're making vinyl chloride, which is causing cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And Superman, Clark Kent says, "I'll tell Superman. We'll figure something out." Lois is going to make beef bourguignon, which is absolutely delicious.
But that's her like only thing she knows how to make. She's always talking about making beef bourguignon or whatever.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's dang good.
Is it?
I could eat that every day for the rest of my life.
Okay.
But this groupie, and are there TV anchor groupies?
I'm sure there's a groupie for anyone in the public eye.
Yeah.
But yeah, this girl is just
comic reflections groupie.
Oh man, if they're out there, I'd love to meet them.
I'm happily married, so.
I'll.
But
so this is that same groupie I think that was trying to hang on Clark before.
Mm-hmm.
So
she's kind of stupid. So.
But she's cute, so it doesn't matter.
I guess not. Lois is very mad. Actually, we do have a new Twinkie alert. I have not seen The Muse.
Oh, you haven't seen this one with Batman and Robin?
Yeah. This guy, the Three Bottles, are a singing group, and with The Muse. And the Muse takes his electronic musical synthesizer and sucks up the musical talent and the body of the singer.
Okay.
So he's got, what is he? He's got Mick Jagger, John Denver, and Elvis.
But they're called something different, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And it's dumb, but that's who they're supposed to be.
Rich Jagger, Jim Colorado, and Elvis Hipsley.
Yeah. I do remember this one quite well.
Yeah.
I've seen it a few times. But
yeah, it's stupid.
It's stupid. But Batman and Robin beat him because it's a Twinkie ad. And that's the worst villains. They're beaten in a single page.
Right. And with the power of Hostess cupcakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy Allegro, Batman. That made it for me.
Yeah.
All right. So Superman, also known as Clark Kent.
Oh.
You didn't know.
Oh. That explains a few things. Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
He's concerned about what? The environment, the girl, what's going on?
Everything. So he goes talk to the factory and they explain everything's cool, but Superman disagrees and starts blasting things. Here comes Mr. Protector. Oh, okay. The problem is, he's thinking about Krypton. He lost a planet. Now we're destroying our planet, and so Superman wants to change his name to Captain Planet.
No, except for that part, but okay.
Yeah. And, it's just... Nah.
But here's where the twist comes in. He is now led to believe that his whole Kryptonian origin is a lie, and that he was a mutant born on Earth.
Yeah,
and
by Supergirl.
Yeah, Supergirl tells him this stuff. She's like, no, we're mutants. And all that Krypton stuff is a psychosis. It's crazy talk that you imagined. And they go to the Fortress of Solitude, and the bottle city of Kandor is just a model, like a bottle in it. Like it's fake, and it's really weird. It's somebody pulled a Twilight Zone kind of gag on Superman
and the reader.
Yeah,
this is pretty dang bad, and this is better be an imaginary story. I'm gonna get mad.
Right. No. I mean, obviously it's a trick, and I think the protector, who is obviously serving the corporate interests of that dirty company, has got to have something to do with it. We don't have the next issue, so who knows?
Yeah.
But it's got to be a fake.
Superman figures out that he uses his X-ray vision, and he sees his heart glow before he makes Protector makes his change to whatever. So
Yeah.
he fakes him out, and let's see, the Protector turns into a gas. Superman uses his heat vision, and then blammo.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
strange doings.
yeah, I don't know. Okay. Superman 70s. So how the mighty have fallen.
Oh, although I seem like these issues in the later 70s, it's kind of getting better though. You know.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. Yeah.
But the early 70s were pretty awful.
Mm-hmm.
So the next book we're going to talk about, and so we'll round off the issue or the episode with this, is Roy Rogers Comics number 69 from Dell, and of course Roy Rogers was one of the original Singing Cowboys and great star of all kinds of moving pictures, and
super popular. He sold millions of these comic books. They're very popular.
oh yeah,
He was I think within the top 5 money makers in Hollywood.
yeah. And this issue is from like September 1953, so late golden age.
Things I didn't know about Roy Rogers: he had a Down syndrome kid.
Oh,
And I think Dale Evans, who's Roy Rogers' wife, wrote a book, and that was one of the first times anyone said they had a Down syndrome because people were kind of ashamed.
well, yeah.
And then they had these concerts, and all of a sudden all these Down syndrome kids came up, and because before this they were keeping the Down syndrome kids in their closets or
Right, yeah.
at home, and it's kind of a watershed. It's really nice, and their adoption they help with adoptions.
Roy and Dale did.
Yeah, and I don't know, he did some great music, Tumbling Tumbleweeds, Happy Trails, which was really well done by
Gene Autry, or?
oh no, Van Halen.
Oh!
Great cover of it.
Oh, I forgot about that.
When Van Halen did this cover of a song that had nothing to do with rock and roll, and it was really cool. Unfortunately, these comic books are awful. At least this one.
I thought it was okay, but other thing about Roy Rogers that he did was I saw this film. It was a promotional film for Ideal Toys.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Ideal or Marks, and what they did is they sent Roy Rogers and, I'm using air quotes, Santa Claus to South America, some South American country, might have been Brazil, and Roy visited like an orphanage with like sick kids, and he's like singing to them, and I'm weeping manly tears, okay, because this is just like, touched me right in the feels.
So Roy Rogers was a cowboy, and he had this great horse called Trigger, and a dog named Bullet, and they were really super intelligent. And I think when I read, some of the movies were just about Trigger. And these are little serials and all that, and that's kind of cool. So, I think the only person in the world doesn't like Roy Rogers is Gene Autry, because Gene Autry was taken over at Roy Rogers because Gene Autry joined the Army Air Corps.
Oh yeah.
In 1938.
Yeah, but they were both, singing cowboys. If you like movies and westerns and country music, and comic books, those guys were in all of them. So.
Yeah, it's sad, but this would not entertain kids today. I don't think. I'm talking about the movies and all. They would not. Well, they wouldn't want to watch the movies because they're mostly black and white. And
I understand.
Yeah.
It's a different time. I mean, the western is basically a dead genre. It was so vital and so huge, and so there was so much of it for decades. But it's fallen away. Yeah. It really has. And no, you're right. Kids today probably wouldn't give half a crap about watching a Western or reading a Western comic book.
Mm-hmm. One last anecdote. Roy kisses Dale Evans in one of the movies on the cheek, and he got lots of males. How dare you? I don't know mushy stuff. So from then on, the only thing he kissed was his horse.
Man, that's lame. I never heard that.
No, I think it's great because it's watched by 8-year-old boys. They don't want to see no romance stuff. They want to see
riding
Roy
and
Rogers
shooting.
and beating the crap out of people. And rightly so. Okay.
All right. So the lead story of this comic book is Roy Rogers races murder in Papoose Pass.
Say that 3 times fast.
Right. Written by Gaylord Dubois and art with Al McHale.
Man, it's like a TLD or a too long didn't read.
Oh, man.
I read it, but man, it's just, I don't know what's going on with this. Is it like a show they put on the comic books or something like that? Or it's just lots and lots of words, and here is Roy Rogers drinking coffee and talking to the barmaid. And it goes on for a page, and God, a lot of exposition. It's kind of boring. Oh, I already forgot what the devil's. Oh, there's a sheep herder cattleman fight. God. So this bad guy gets out of jail.
Yeah.
And they're all worried about him. So, all right. So this guy, Roy never seen this. Hey, you got trouble. They got my sheep. So he takes Roy Rogers to this valley, and they're looking over it, and he throws magnesium flare, scares Roy's horse, which is luckily not Trigger, because Trigger is getting his hooves shot.
Weird.
Yeah, so the horse goes eog and dies, okay, because it falls over. Roy gets his wrist sprained and his arm broken, but Bullet comes and saves Roy. So Bullet goes and tells this other guy, Slim, about, hey, Roy Rogers. He barks at him. So the guy knows Bullet's really smart. Man, I hope my dog Tiberius isn't trying to tell me someone's up in a well, because he barks at everything. So,
right.
I would never know. So Slim comes, brings Roy back to his shed, and they wrap, plaster Paris, which Slim has out in the middle of nowhere. I don't know. Is there another reason for plaster Paris?
Sure. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure people have it for not just making casts.
Yeah.
So anyway, Roy's got a sprained arm and a broken arm, and he has Slim make the cast around his gun so he can be holding his gun so he can shoot if he needs to.
Which is one of the stupidest things I ever heard. So
I kind of liked it, but
the problem is revolvers. There's a gap between the revolving part and the barrel where hot gases expand out.
Yeah.
So you don't want to put your hand there. So you have your hand in an enclosed area with these super hot gases.
Yeah.
You're going to burn the crap out of you.
It's true.
And
Roy wasn't thinking right.
Yeah, well.
Oh, well.
That's not Roy Rogers' fault. It's the writer's fault.
Gaylord Dubois.
Yeah.
A name which shall live in infamy at Dell Comics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He wrote a lot of stuff for Dell and Gold Key. So. Yeah.
If he had put a Derringer in there, because the Derringer is just 2 shots, that would have worked fine.
Sure.
Oh, well. Let's gun that stuff. So the bad guy, who's I don't even know his name.
Doesn't even matter. We'll just say the bad guy.
Yeah. They're going after. He's going after everybody, I guess. So he tramples this guy almost to death.
Dang.
And oh man, Bullet says York, York, York. That's great.
Yeah.
But nothing.
Oh, I agree, Bullet.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And then it's Arp York. So,
yeah. It's they're trying to make dog sounds, whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of and horse sounds. It's just interesting how they do it. So, all right, so the guy gives his with his dying declaration who killed him. And what's his name? Craig Bannerman. So,
Oh, Craig Bannerman? Yeah.
You may have heard of him.
Yeah.
No. And here comes... Okay. So one of his deputies feeds Roy, and this takes a whole page to do it. It's just kind of... It's just so slow.
Sorry.
Yeah, and so wordy. But I guess it takes time to read, so you get your dime's worth or a nickel's worth, however much it was worth.
1953, I think it's still a dime.
Yeah.
For 52 pages? That's a good deal.
Well, this is a reprint, though, isn't it?
Nope.
It's not?
Nope.
I'll be dang. All right. Yeah, it is a good. Okay. So, all right. So, Cunningham has got this trap laid out. So they're going to get all these sheep herders to go down a valley, and they're going to blow up the valley on top of them.
With the classic dynamite with the lever that you push down onto that box that to set off charges.
Wouldn't you like to do that one time?
Yeah. I mean, because you've seen it in like every cartoon ever when you're a kid. And yeah, you're like...
And
every Western print,
and the bridge of the river Kwai.
Kwai.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, no, I would love to do that. You're absolutely right, Jeff.
Yeah, and they do it that way, but not anymore. I think there's a button they press. But.
Yeah.
All right, so there's a fight. Bullet comes to the rescue. We do not see Trigger because Trigger is not being used.
He was getting his feet shod.
How long does it take to shod a horse?
I don't know. I think because remember the whole thing was they didn't want Trigger because the horse in this story was going to fall off the cliff.
Yeah.
So they found, that's a way we can write him out. He's being shot. And then Roy got caught up in this stuff and hasn't got time to go pick him up from the stable or whatever.
Yeah,
See? So Bannerman was caught, not Cunningham, Bannerman.
Yeah, but he uses the gun in his cast and it works fine. No problem. Ooh, okay.
Okay, so that story was resolved. The first of a couple backup stories is it's Roy Rogers in High Wind and Gunsmoke. Now, Gaylord Dubois also wrote this story, and Al McHale drew this again. I guess they were like the main artists and the main creative team for this series. And what's going on here?
All right, it looks like flood conditions, and Roy Rogers, hey, there's going to be a flood coming, and of course this one guy says, oh, there'll never flood, but then it floods. Okay, so this blonde-haired kid comes and saves the day, helps with the horses, and this girl is about to runaway horses. I guess this happened every day in the Wild West.
Sure.
And the blonde kid saves the day on that. And he's with some guy who's really kind of a mean, nasty-looking guy. And they look up, hey, they just robbed a bank. So Roy goes chasing them with Bullet and Trigger.
Yeah.
So when Roy sneaks
Trigger's
up on
drawn really cool.
Yeah, I think Trigger was really... I think Trigger's hoof prints are on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
I think you're right. Or the Man's Chinese Theater.
Is that the same thing, or is that something?
Well, the Hollywood Walk of Fame goes by Man's Theater.
Right.
When you see the handprints or the or whatever, that's usually at Man's Chinese. The Walk of Fame is usually just the star.
Oh,
there's a difference.
Oh, okay.
But they're kind of like by each other.
Yeah.
Or they do cross by. The Walk of Fame kind of is lengthy, but anyway.
Yeah, well, Trigger's cool, and they're smart. And Roy said, "Hey, Trigger, knock it off. He wants you to be silent." And Trigger obeys.
Yeah.
So Roy overhears the young kid say, "I want to give me my money so I can have my half, so I can give it back to the bank president and take my just desserts."
Right. Because he's not really a bad kid. He just kind of fell in with the...
Yeah, and the bad guy really shoots him. So.
Yeah.
And then Bullet comes and saves the day, and... And the horses come to fight. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. It's weird. The bad guy gets trampled to death, right?
It looks that way.
Yeah. And then the kid, who is not so bad, He turns himself into Roy, I guess.
Yeah, and Roy said, "I heard." And so they go to the bank president. So here's the money. Sorry, I heard. Got all the money now. So
yeah,
and luckily the blonde, beautiful girl was saved by the good-looking blonde kid earlier. Is the bank president's daughter.
Right.
With the bank president. Okay, so the bank president says, "Okay, I'll let you go." And thank you, and that's the end.
Wouldn't the feds pursue charges? Wouldn't they? Or is this guy just? I don't. There's a lot of unresolved things. Like, is he just looking the other way? Is this kid gonna be a fugitive for life? What's going on here?
I believe that back then, well, even now, if you don't press charges, they can do nothing. And there's a federal law now about.
But this is
that came out in the 1920s.
Right.
Although this happens when there's cars and telephones, so I don't understand what's going on at the time.
Yeah, there is a car. The time frame is kind of weird. There is a car in the next story, and which is like what? It's really strange. And let's talk about that story. It's Roy Rogers, King of the Cowboys, in Bullet, searches down a crook. Let's see. Gaylord Dubois wrote it, and boy, here we go. The art is split up between Randy Steffen, Pete Alvarado, and Charles McKimson. That's just pencils, and then Andy Steffen inked it. So yeah, three different pencilers, man.
And I think I don't like the way it looks.
Yeah, it's kind of not consistent.
Oh, it's just not good. It's inconsistent. It's consistently bad. It just the faces are there's nothing interesting about the pictures, and this has gone on. There's although Trigger looked good. So.
Yeah.
All right. So this president of the mining company has a payroll, and he gives to this goofball. Let's see, what's it done? Pat Brady. I guess he's a good. Roy Rogers had these.
What if he's related to Greg Brady? No.
Yeah. Roy has these sidekicks, who are a bunch of goofballs. I think he had Andy Devine and Gabby Hayes and all kinds.
Interesting.
And that's what makes
Gabby Hayes had his own comic book too.
Oh, yeah. Andy Devine had his own TV show.
Did he?
Pluck the magic twanger, Froggy. I have no idea what that means, but it's this mean, nasty, magical frog that would make Andy Devine look stupid, and the kids would laugh.
This is a real thing?
Yes, it's one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen in my life.
That's so weird.
Yeah, man. It's a crazy world.
I'll say.
Yeah.
So what's going on in this story?
He runs a mine and said, "Hey, I'm gonna give you the money and put it in your safe, and no one will rob it here." And then 5 minutes later, here comes somebody robbing it. So he knocks the guy over the head and locks him up. Like this. He wakes up, and the scumbag in the next cell in the jail says, "Hee hee haw haw. His words are spell and jail to see you get locked up with me, Pat Brady. Haw haw haw." Man. Oh, yeah. Luckily, Pat Brady has a key on him, so he gets out. And then here comes Bullet, chases down the guy, and Pat Brady uses a Jeep.
And it's so weird because everything else in this comic book has seemed fairly, it's the Old West. Oh wait, but now there's a car.
Yeah. Oh, and then so Pat Brady meets Roy Rogers finally, and they go to this hotel or a apartment house or something.
Yeah.
And then the guy who left the money there earlier is in there smoking a cigar in his house coat. And Bullet goes into the closet and finds the money. And that's the end.
So, was it all a trick? So he could keep the money? Oh, okay, got it.
Because he dressed up like a gunman, so.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I think there's one more story in this.
Chuck Wagon Charlie Tales.
Yeah, Chuck Wagon Charlie's Tales, and this one's about a bear. It's untitled, but it's about a bear.
Yeah. Okay.
Gaylord Dubois wrote this, and the art is by Ray Thayer.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I'll let you
Okay.
spin this here yarn.
That's a lot.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks a lot. Do you know that song? It's
No.
an Ernest Tubb song.
Oh,
I figured it would-
like Ernest Tubb, but I don't remember that song.
It's one of his biggest ones, but that's okay. I figured that would be kind of fitting
Okay.
for
So
their
who is
theme.
this goober here?
Chuck Wagon Charlie.
Yeah, I guess it's Chuck Wagon Charlie, and he's given payroll again to keep safe. And of course, here comes a crook, and Charlie throws hash on him and bashes him. With
Oh
the
man,
frying
it's like Al Green's woman. Remember that?
pan. Oh.
Al Green, soul singer, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He was living in sin with a young lady, and she says, "Hey, I want to get married," and he says, "Get married." Yeah, right. And so she dumped hot grits on him while he was in the shower and burned up his back. And then I think she was pregnant, and like because she thought she was going to refuse to marry her, I think she may have killed herself.
Oh.
And that was like what prompted his conversion, and now Al Green's a minister and stuff.
Goodness.
Yeah, you never heard that story?
No. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Wow. Okay, so he bops somebody in the head with a frying. You know how heavy my wife uses a frying pan, and,
And she hits you on the head all the time.
If she hit me in the head with that thing, I would die because that thing's heavy.
Sure. We're talking this is an old cast iron thing. Yeah, they are heavy.
And they cook really well.
Yeah.
And they're great. But so everybody's, hey, Chuck Wagon Charlie, that's a great idea, hitting them with hash. And says, well, let me tell you a story. And I'm wondering if this was another story and they put it together, or
Yeah, well, if they did, if this was a framing sequence that they've added to make another story longer, that works. But it's effective, you know.
Okay. This is because it looks very different indeed. Looks like
Except
Golden Age, and this looks like early Silver Age or late Golden Age.
Yeah.
And all right, it starts with Bean Browning. Let's see, old Ben Seekins.
Yeah, and he was touched in the head, which I think is important.
So it's two different people. Okay, it's talking about Beans Browdy.
Told Chuck Wagon Charlie this story, and then
no,
old Ben is the subject of the story.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I got confused. All right. So this guy, old Ben Seekins, shot this mama bear and got the cub and raised him. And they had a good time. And the bear got Ben mad a lot of times, but Ben, when he shot an animal, he let the bear get his first bite, and they show him skinning an animal, which I've never, ever seen in comicdom.
Well, first time for everything.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe the last, but you know.
indeed. So, so they got along okay. And then the bear is trying to get this honey or molasses, and he tears up everything. And old Ben gets mad and
Kicks him out of the house.
Gets him out of the house.
Yeah.
But the bear doesn't want to go, so he takes a flour bag and throws it on him and explodes, and the bear doesn't like it. And the bear runs away and almost burns down the house.
Yeah.
So the bear becomes a phantom bear and goes and tries to kill sheep and I don't know. He kills some sheep and gets shot up, but still okay. But then here's Beans Browdy. He's making beans, and the bear attacks him. So he uses he uses pepper, and then he shoots the bear dead with his pistol.
Okay.
And,
could you really kill a bear with a pistol?
45 caliber to shoot him in the head? Yes.
Okay.
I would not go into bear country with a 45 caliber pistol. I would go with a 44. But I would not do anything less. I wouldn't even think about less than a 45.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably ought to do okay.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're Dirty Harry, I guess a pistol will work. But anyway, so that was it? The whole story was about.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, meh.
Yeah.
All right. One last word. Better burn the wind that you aim to keep those sheepers from making some booger play.
So weird.